I am so excited. We got our guest on, Tariro. I can't pronounce the last name. Eva, can you help me out? I'm sorry. I apologize. I tried.
Absolutely. Is Mzezewa.
Mzezewa. Okay. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I think it was a really solid effort.
Yeah, happy to have you. Spring is here and summer is around the corner. And as more people get vaccinated for COVID, we are ready to get out of the house and travel. But the pandemic is not over. And how do you know who has been vaccinated and who has not? And folks are talking about a new thing called the vaccine passport. And here to tell us about it is New York Times travel reporter Tariro Mzezewa. Got it. There it is. Hey, now, thank you for coming on this morning. And tell us what is a vaccine passport, and how do they work exactly?
Okay, so this is a really good question. People want to travel. People are getting vaccinated. How do you prove that you've been vaccinated? When you get vaccinated, you get that little white piece of paper. And it's a little white piece of paper. What if you lose it? Are you going to carry that around with you everywhere you go, to every single trip? So a lot of people in the travel industry are saying, we need to digitize this thing. And it's not a totally new idea, right? For decades, people had to have those yellow cards from the World Health Organization. If you sent your kids to public school, you had to prove they've been vaccinated in many cases. So people are trying to figure out how to digitize this. It's just something that can show that you've been vaccinated and are safe to be around people participating in public life. If you want to go to a concert, if you want to go to a sports game in a huge stadium with hundreds or thousands of people, if you want to get on a plane, stay in a hotel, participate in group tours while you're on vacation, it's just helpful if everybody around you feels like they're also secure being with you, and for you to know that about other people. So they're trying to develop this on your phone. Lots of different people are doing this. Nonprofits, like MasterCard's working on something, IBM's working on something, the airlines are working on something. There are a lot of people in this space trying to figure out a solution that we can all use so we can do this.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. So I understand that a few countries already have some form of a vaccine pass. So will the U.S. start requiring them? And why are so many people against it?
Okay, so another really great question. There are some countries that are working on this. The EU, even though its vaccine rollout to all of its member countries is going very slow, is trying to work on this for the summer. Lots of countries with travel bubbles are trying to make this happen. The thing is, the CDC is still advising against domestic and international travel. And they said in their guidelines last week that even if you've been vaccinated, you're still discouraged from traveling. And I think the idea there is that until more people in the United States have been vaccinated, they won't issue guidance on that. I don't think, there are some that are already in trials, some of these vaccine passports, but I don't think it's going to be something that's mandatory in the next month or so, right? There's a lot of work to be done here. And to your question about people are skeptical about, or, criticisms around this, is that not everybody has access to even just a mobile phone, right? If you say you have to have this on your mobile phone in order to participate in concerts, in travel, in public life, you have a ton of people who just don't have these fancy phones, right? So what's the solution for them? Whatever solution is created needs to exist for them. But then there's also parts of the world where people aren't going to get the vaccine for a really long time. Is it fair to say certain parts of the world, in the United States, Americans can have this and can get going, while other parts of the world who don't have access to this yet have to stay put? So there are a lot of ethical considerations and lots of, conversation about fairness and equity and making sure this technology is rolled out properly. And there's also this idea of tracking, right? You're going to put in all your health information into your phone, and what happens with your privacy? So lots of concerns around privacy. And again, so many people working to try and figure out solutions for those kinds of questions.
Okay. Go ahead,
Rickey. I was going to say, a lot of hotels are packed. How do you think those hotels are managing COVID guidelines when you're traveling? And what should we look for?
Right.
I think you should be looking for the smell of bleach. No.
No, for
Right.
real.
Okay.
Right.
No, Look, I think a lot of people in the travel industry, it's going to be your airlines, it's going to be your hotels and resorts and your tour companies. People are going to be trying to woo you back. And like a premium on this is going to be like cleanliness and the sense of safety. They're going to be marketing that stuff to you so hard. If you go into a space and you feel like, exactly, like they're already doing this. And I think you should be asking yourself, like, do I feel safe in this space? Like, am I staying somewhere where it looks like they aren't following COVID protocols? Or even like, you know, how are they treating their staff? Is their staff like walking around without PPE? Like, talk to the people who work there. There's so much that like you can do as a traveler and as a consumer to make sure that you're like being smart and taking care of yourself, but also being thoughtful for the people who work in the industry too.
Right. Now, you know, is it difficult getting back into the United States after you have traveled to places like Jamaica, the Bahamas? How hard is it to get back in, you know, to the United States?
It's not hard at all. You need to have a negative COVID test to come back into the U.S. from any international destination right now. So you got to take your test within 72 hours of traveling back. And a lot of destinations, especially in the Caribbean, and we've also seen this in Mexico, have set it up so you can get your test at the airport. You can do rapid tests, or you can get airports at the hotels. A lot of hotels and resorts are offering those tests on property, or they've set up programs where they'll take you to a hospital or to a testing site to get your test. They'll send you your results, and you have those when you show up to the airport. I know, you know, there have been concerns about people like trying to forge those test results, but airlines are checking. Like before you get on the plane, somebody is looking to see that you've got your negative test.
So is that the new thing called vacations?
Vacations. Oh my God.
Like for vacations for people who have been vaccinated?
Yes. People are planning their vacations. I'm hearing a lot about, you know, people who still feel most comfortable and, you know, doing road trips, being outside, that type of thing. But I also know that a lot of people are booking their big, like, bucket list trip if they can. Obviously, there's like a real money factor involved here. But for the people who can afford to do it, there's people are booking big trips, right? They're like, I just lived through a pandemic. I said I would do it 20 years ago. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. This is the year. So there's a lot of that happening. And most people are sort of holding off. I think there's a sense that summer is going to extend into the fall. So people will be taking that big summer vacation that they usually take in June or July, in September or October. So that's something else to look out for.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Y'all give it up for travel reporter and writer, travel reporter. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. That's some good information.
Thank you so
from
much.
Tariro Mzezewa. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.